Surprise, bitch. I bet you thought you'd seen the last of me.
This is Ember. Again.
Blah blah blah, let's get on with it. Ember. The warframe that has always had a strong following of haters. No matter what DE did to her, she was somehow never good enough for those groups of Naraman rhinos. I would love to waste my time and explain why they were wrong, but why bother with overly sensitive weasels who hide in one room for 12 hours with a Siren and a Xenastar and call that skill? You feel me? Good. Ember's new passive ability is kinda like mine. For each enemy within a 50-meter radius that is on fire, she gains 5% ability strength. This can be triggered and stacked by any means. So using a fire-based weapon like the Ignis or your abilities will work as well. In fact, even if other squad mates set the fools on fire, it will benefit your ability strength. Which is kinda madness, but I'm not complaining. Alrighty, let's blaze into the first ability. Hot diggity dog.
Hot diggity dog, hot diggity, this kind of thing that just tickles my balls.
Ember's fireball is pretty much the same as always, except better. Casting this, Ember will fling a fiery turd as your point of aim and set them on fire with 100% status chance. Which means the enemy directly hit by this will be crowd controlled momentarily. Enemies within 2 meters of the impact will also take some damage but much less and also be subject to only 50% status chance. So crowd controlling groups with this ability is a gamble. You may also decide to charge this ability for up to double damage. Upon casting, you will have a short window of opportunity to recast the balls of fire. If you are not too slow, you will double your damage again. By spamming this ability, you can maximize the damage by a factor of 8 times. Just under 16 actually if you count a full charge. However, that is not the important part. Sure, you may want to set as many enemies on fire as you can since it will make your spicy chicken frame more powerful, and also help with armor stripping heavily armored units, but the more interesting thing here is the synergy between Fireball and Ember's second ability. You see, for every fireball cast, you will increase your heat gauge charge rate by 1% per second. In turn, the higher your charge is, the faster your fireball will charge up. So fast in fact that it is almost instantaneously maxed if you decide to use a charged shot. If I were you, I would spam this fireball about 3 times when you feel your heat gauge is too low, to bring it up faster but not too fast. The higher it is, the tankier and more deadly you are. Which brings us to her second ability. The reason why Alicia Keys and Ember are friends.
This is fine.
Immolation is essentially Ember's iron skin but for intellectuals or Tenelev culture. Ember ignites her chicken wings and instantly gains 40% damage reduction. Over time, she will slowly increase damage reduction, which is indicated down here on the heat gauge I mentioned earlier. This number directly indicates your current damage reduction. The natural cap is at 85%, but screw that jazz. Slap on at least 25% strength and you will max this ability at 50% upon cast and 90 at max charge. As mentioned earlier, you can increase with speed at which you reach max tankiness by casting your fireball a few times. Or by casting your 4. But I will get to that later. Now there is a catch here. Once you reach max charge, your Ember will begin to drain the shit out of your energy pool and you will not be able to pick up energy while in this overheated state. There are 2 ways you can counteract this. First way, recast the ability to turn it off. I recommend this for idiots. Or option 2, cast your third ability to drop the charge down by 50%. This is recommended for everyone else. Oh, would you look at that? What a wonderful segue into the third ability. Ixamus Copycat. Ember has clearly seen Terminator 2 too many times since she tries to replicate the scene where Sarah Connor is grilled by a nuclear blast. This fire blast expands outward and will reach 25 meters. Every enemy hit by it is knocked on its ass and barbecued. On top of that, they have their armor removed by 50% at least. To achieve 100% armor removal, you will need to cast this ability when your heat gauge is maxed out at 90%. This is pretty savage against Vernier but hardly impressive against Cobras. Infested never liked fire to begin with, so you can roast their booties with ease. Another mechanic you will need to know here: casting Fire Blast will reduce your heat gauge by 50% right off the bat. Additionally, it will slow down your heat gauge by 2% per second for each time you cast it, which makes this thing quite easy to control. No matter which faction you are up against, casting this ability is never entirely useless since it sets douchebags on fire, and that will help your passive as well, which was a 5% buff for each Burning Man in case you have already forgotten.
Get back, motherfucker, you don't know me like that.
Also, cast this strategically to hit as many fools as you can, since Fire Blast has a built-in line of sight mechanic. Anyway, next up. The reason dinosaurs are extinct.
And no wonder you're extinct.
Contrary to common belief, this ability is pretty good and versatile. For one, you can cast this in the absence of enemies and it will cost you no energy at all. That's right, I did not stutter. If you cast this ability without targeting enemies, the cast will be free. But why on earth would you want to do that, you might ask? Well, because every time you cast Inferno, it will increase your heat gauge charge rate by 3% per second. So you could use this to get more tanky at a faster rate. Otherwise it will cost you 10 energy per target you hit with it. Now then, when it comes to enemies hit, they will take a shitload of damage and be affected by a supercharged ring of fire. This ring of fire will also damage dummies over time and spread to nearby enemies. So kinda like sarin spores. And yes, you can cast multiple times to stack the damage. That's pretty much all the important basics on this Brazilian turkey you need to know. So let me share a mechanic about her that I discovered at some point and is the core of my gameplay as Ember. The juggle. If you play this build smart, you will enter a Goldilocks zone with her synergies, where you can cast your third ability to strip armor, then cast your fourth ability to deal insane damage and bring your charge back up quickly, and then repeat. At some point, you will almost be spamming this ability, killing or crowd controlling constantly. Energy will not be a problem since I use the augment exothermic. This gives me a chance to get an energy orb out of enemies killed who were previously affected by my blazing inferno rings. On top of that, the bit of damage you will take will also help your energy needs thanks to Hunter Adrenaline. Health will also be replenished pretty much constantly thanks to the augment healing flame, which gives you health back for each enemy hit by your third ability, Fire Blast. I trust you now understand why I call this the juggle. So then, let me briefly summarize. Ember has a heat gauge. The higher it is charged, the more tanky and deadly you are. At max charge, it will drain severe amounts of energy, so you will need to control it. Your first and fourth ability both make a charge faster, while your third ability will slow it down and instantly reduce the charge by half. And if you play this just right, you will easily dominate everything on the start chart with ease. Alrighty. Here is my build. If you give a damn, you can see my playstyle and how well this build works on my recent solo survival mission. To be fair, with different weaponry, you could get to 1 hour with little more effort. However, I decided to be a little traditional and use the Ractus Cernos again just like I did nearly 5 fucking years ago. There are of course other ways you can build your Ember and the effects will probably be just as fine. So do whatever the hell you want to do. Just do not forget to like and subscribe to this shitty channel. And fuck off.